At any point in court, did Mr. Kaluza appear to be angry?
To be honest, no, he did not.
And I saw the interviews and stuff with Mr. Kaluza, and Mr. Kaluza did not appear to be angry. He did
He
not.
did not.
He was just upbeat and did not forgive your co-defendant, but forgave you. So how in that situation, how does that make you feel?
It made me feel relief. Like, of course, it was that tinge of, man, we didn't get forgiven, but it was just a relief because that had been my prayer the whole time. Just praying for grace, for favor, and mercy for me in the courts, but also just praying for his healing, praying for his forgiveness. Because at the end of the day, like I said in the beginning,
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
I never wanted him to get hurt. You know what I mean? Like, and so to know that somebody was physically hurt and to know that, like, it still to this day, like, 13 and a half years later, it's still something that plagues me. You know what I mean? Like, a poor decision on my behalf caused this to happen. So it was definitely a relief, but unfortunately, it's just like I found out that he forgave me and he passed away in the same breath. So it was relief, but then just sadness. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of emotion because those last years of his life, he was immobilized.
Exactly. Now let's talk about Miss Kimberly Helms a little bit. Okay,
Okay.
was Miss Kimberly Helms on any drugs that you knew of?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Where is Miss Kimberly Helms today? Have she reached out to you? Have she spoken to you or anything?
No, she hasn't, and she passed away a couple years ago.
Okay. Do you happen to know what she may have passed away from or just personal?
No, I do not.
Okay. Now, we done got through the hard part of this, which is therapy for you. And I want to, before I go off into how this interview was almost not done or almost not completed, because I got the email from you, I wanted to scrap the full interview. What we did, I wanted to scrap it and say, you know what, I don't want to put her through this. And before we go off into that part, you were a college student, am I right? Before all this happened, you were a college student, right?
Yep, I had a full ride to Youngstown State University.
Okay. Now, what was your grade point average, if you don't mind me asking?
It seems so long ago, but I believe that it was pretty good. I believe that I was at least a 3 point something. I didn't fail out of college, so I'm pretty sure I did well. I did a couple of semesters, but it just seems so long ago I could not even remember.
Okay. So before this, did you even ever have a criminal record or any run-in with the police?
No, I just had a speeding ticket.
Okay, we all get one of those. That's nothing. We can. So the answer to that, we're gonna say no, because everybody speeds a little bit, go 5-10 miles over the speed limit, and we get that speeding ticket and get the points on our license. But that's what life's all about when you're driving. Now,
Absolutely.
one thing that I want to ask you, because I want to go back to your sister's place, where you
Yes.
stated that you were living with your sister, you and your daughter. What happened that made you have to move in with your sister? Do you mind talking about that?
No, I don't mind at all. My mom put me out when I was about, I want to say 15, and my daughter was a little over a year. She had put me out because,
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
I was smelling myself, and I was failing in school, and she just, she was overwhelmed. She was overwhelmed, and my sister and her husband took me in with their family, and that's where I stayed until I got this case.
Okay. Now, let me tell my audience that this interview was not almost brought to the light, and it was not almost completed. We recorded the first part of the interview, and God works in mysterious ways, because I was sending her an email at the same time she was sending me an email. I was letting her know, hey, I heard the playback, everything sound good, you did good in the interview. I was letting her know the interview was great. And I was getting a letter back that she stayed up all night crying. This was, open old wounds for her. And the main important thing to her was she was worried about not making the victim or his family look bad, even though he's deceased, but not making his family look bad, not making her family look bad. Well, she put her family last, and not making the co-defendant's family look bad. And it was overwhelming for her to go back and talk about it because she thought that she was over it, had healed, not over it, but thought it was good to talk about it and get it off her chest. And I had to write her an email back, and had to give her some brotherly love, some tough love as a family member, because like I tell everybody that when I deal with any inmate, they become family. And I'm gonna reach out to them and see how they doing, and they can keep that open communication, that open line with me to communicate with me. Now, Miss Gilbert, what happened to make you just basically not we almost scrapped this? Just talk to me from your end. Talk to me.
It just it was a lot, for the longest I hadn't even accepted my time. I literally just accepted my time maybe a year ago, because it was just like I was in this, fantasy world, this spiritual fantasy world, like, let me just pray and do.
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
And I'll be out. And I had to really just take a moment and sit still and just really look at what I'm faced against. 41 years, I came in at 20. That means I'm going to leave here at 61. With God, all things are possible, but that's what it looks like on black and white. And just to relive what actually happened, just to relive how immature my mind was, just to relive how blinded by love and lust and just something that I felt that I was lacking, just to relive all of that, and then still to know, like, as great of a person as I am, you talk to me for 2 seconds, you'll fall in love. But just to know that in my past there is this scar, and in my scar is somebody else's pain that eventually, who is not here no more, and their last years weren't quite enjoyable because they couldn't do the small things that I can do incarcerated. It was just a lot to take in, and, I was venting about it, and somebody I was close to just basically was like, if it hurts so bad, why do it? And it took my breath away, because, and my first thought was like, well, yeah, you're right, why do it? But then something deep within me, like, because this is your time to fight, like, this is the time to be known, not longer for the KFC girl, because everyone depicts who I am, not even by just who Hattie is, but just what I've done. People like, oh, you look familiar, where you from, Youngstown? Oh, you the KFC girl. Instantly. Mm-hmm. That's what I was known as, and it's like, no, I'm not the KFC girl. I'm Hattie. I'm a mother. I'm an aunt. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I'm a human. Yes, my poor decision led to someone's downfall. Somebody's paralysis. It has led to that. But ultimately, I am a human being who made a very poor decision, and that was kind of basically where I was at, like trying to get deep down to that truth. But it was just covered with all that shame, all that guilt, because every time I think I forgave myself for it, stuff like this comes up, and I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't, because I weep for it, because I'm a compassionate person. I feel that pain, and it's heavy. It's a heavy burden. And I was just like, you know what, forget it. Like, I'm not even about to do this, because I don't have time to, make my family go through this again, or make his family go through it again, or make my co-defendant feel some kind of way. What if I mess up something he got going on? Like, it was just all those thoughts that just was racing in my head. And it's just so crazy, because not one of them was like, what about you? What about your child who has been without her mother this long? Like, you need to be able to start fighting so you can get to her. And it wasn't until you gave me that brotherly love, like, really opened my eyes from a whole different perspective, because I have people who I'm close with who try to, beat that into me, like, hey, forget him, like, he's nothing. And it's, it's just easier said than done. But when you have someone who, know the game, who have experienced certain things and seen certain things, you have somebody who doesn't even know you say, like, hey, shake that off for real. It's about you. It just, I don't know, it was exactly what I needed to hear. And I was just like, you know what? I am going to put my voice out there. And, God just give me the words to say so I can speak my truth, because I'm no longer the KFC girl. Yes, I did commit a crime, but I'm Hattie today. And I know who that person is. And I just want everyone who hears this interview to know who I am and not the monster that the media has portrayed for me to be.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Now, when you got my email and you opened that email and you read it, was that kind of
This call is originating from an Ohio correctional facility and may be recorded and monitored.
Was I harsh in that email? What was it like when you read that email? What went through your mind?
I was just like, hey, he the truth. You know what I mean? Like, this is what love is. Like, it just never gives up. You know, in 1 Corinthians 13, that's what it says. Love never gives up. And it was just like, you not knowing me from Adam, not knowing me from all, but just knowing my struggle, knowing my pain. Like, you pushed through my own weakness. You pushed through my own pain. And you didn't even handle me with kid gloves. You just spoke truth with love. And some people don't understand, like, I'm a very sensitive person, overly emotional. You don't have to be abrasive with me for me to get it. And it was just like, it was exactly how I needed to hear it. It wasn't abrasive at all. It was just all done in love. Like, I see your pain, and I'm going to help you get through this. But your truth matters.
Exactly. See, this is the thing why I tell my audience, can't nobody that has not walked in the shoes that you and I have walked in and been where I've been where you are now today. You just can't come off the street and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is entertainment. No, it's not entertainment. This is somebody's life. This is somebody's truth, and it needs to be heard. So when you listen to true crime anywhere, it's all about the victim and it's all about the family. You never hear from the actual perpetrator or the perpetrators. You don't never hear their side of the truth, because their side of the truth has already been sealed. Their fate has been sealed by the prosecutor and the police and the media to let you. They speak your truth, well, your story, because it's a story for them, because it's all lies, or a good 90% lies. So me, that's like, let me go in here and tell your truth. I know what it's like. I was there. You know what I'm saying? And when I was just there, angry, I was mad, because like I was mad, like, damn, I got caught. And I was mad, not that I got caught. I was mad that, okay, damn, this person is supposed to be so street, but this this person got up on the stand and testified and was pointing fingers. But you know what I was thinking when I did my crime? Me and this person, we was gonna be, every time we saw each other, it was gonna be a shootout. That's what I was geared for and was ready for. But no, he's like went and called the police and testified and got on the stand. So I'm like, wow, okay, this is not what I want to do. And them old heads was like, look, man, you need to let go of that. The game ain't like it was when we were out there, because, you know, I was balled up with them old cats. It's like, what you gonna do now when you get up out of here? You see it ain't the same game. You know what I'm saying? You need to do something, you know, have a voice to be heard. Get your voice heard. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know what? No.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Let me get our voices heard. You know what I'm saying? Because we family. That's just one big family. That's all it is. I don't care how you cut it, how you slice it. It's one big family.